Okay, so here we are again in another video, and today we're gonna start with DXY as always. Okay, so what did we have? Well, first of all, I saw the price coming up, and I saw that this high was previous weekly high and previous daily high. And well, I wanted to understand why it reacted here, so I understood that this was rally within H1 after breaking the structure to the downside and having well well, maybe it's not that relevant because here we don't have a break of structure to the upside. So yeah, just going to look at this. So we took that with a week, and probably we will, not sure, but maybe we will take it again. And we had the movement on Asia, and after that it just went down without stopping. It stopped here on New York a little bit, and then it continued going down. Okay, so my intention was I didn't like these weeks, but it's true that on M5 it was a clean break, so we could see this movement. Okay, so let's start with EU. First of all, on EU, we have, in this case, yes, we have Raven liquidity in H1 and previous weekly low, which is Raven liquidity in H1 too, because it took this high that broke this structure. But well, yeah, I just had all this liquidity here, so I can write it, but it's not that relevant. Okay, so what I was looking for is I didn't like this week, and I wanted to see this round liquidity on H1 being taken to look for a trade to the downside, but it took that, and we had no break of a structure on M5, and then it continued. Here I'm not looking for a trade, as it's too far. Okay, and we had this previous daily high and round liquidity on H1. Why? Because we broke a structure to the upside and then to the downside. So this round liquidity on H1 and this round liquidity on H1 too. So I waited for this to be taken, and it took that out of timing, and no trade for me here, of course. GU, okay. So on GU we had more or less the same. Yeah, not here. But we had more or less the same as the XY, but on the other side. And we took previous daily low, previous weekly low, and previous daily low. And well, I didn't look for trades because this is, let me see, this is the break of structure here, and the relevant liquidity, it's really here, the relevant liquidity in H1, and it already reacted. So nothing really relevant for me. So it took this previous weekly low and previous daily low. It took this round liquidity in H1, perfect reaction, movement to the downside to take, of course, this round liquidity on H1, and then continuation to the upside, where we don't have round liquidity here to the left. So nothing to trade for me on GU, but as you can see, it took every H1 round liquidity perfectly, and then it moved to the upside. Okay, this is a pattern that I like, that it fakes the break of structure to the upside, then it creates buyers. As you can see, these are buyers reaction, then we took all the buyers liquidity and movement to the upside. But it's really difficult to trade because you need a lot of confirmations, and as you can see, it never gives them. So yeah, no trade for me in this case. So USD/JPY, more or less the same than DXY. Previous weekly high and previous daily high being taken. Round liquidity in H1 here after this movement to the downside. That it didn't break the structure. Yes, we broke structure here. So this is round liquidity on H1, and so on. This is round liquidity in H1, and we have buyers liquidity here. Okay, So we took that, but it was in Asia, so no trade for me, as it's out of timing. And then we took the driver liquidity on H1 to the downside. I was looking for a buy, of course, waiting for this to be taken, as I don't like wicks, as you know. And well, the breakout structure is more or less here. Okay, so breakout structure with a wick, driver liquidity on M5, another wick, so I don't like that, and well, just no trade for me. Okay, wick, no wick, so no trade. And I'm gonna put this here just for you to remember, because I'm not sure if I'm going to take pictures about it, but we will see. Yeah, so after that, let's see USD CAD, because well, yeah, I know I have USD CHF, but I will look at it in the end, okay, because we had a trade there. So USD CHF, we had driver liquidity in H1 here because breakup started to the downside and then to the upside, taking the driver liquidity on H1. Then we had another break to the downside. It created buyer's liquidity here. So after taking this previous daily high and driver liquidity in H1, maybe it continues, but we know that we have really driver liquidity here. And I was all day waiting for this to be taken. Okay, so I was all the fucking day waiting for this to be taken, but in the end it took it. In the end of the day, no timing for me. And here, well, we have this equal highs, break and retest. It takes all the liquidity. Probably we have ground liquidity around here because we broke structure here, ground liquidity here, and the ground liquidity that takes that is this one. So now you understand why it went here, but these are really risky. It's not a setup that I know yet, so I'm gonna have to study these things later on when I'm profitable with the setup that I'm studying right now. Okay, so no trades for me on USD CAD, and to finish this day, as you can see, trade on USD CHF. Yeah, I think let me see, 29, 30, so it's here and here. 32. Okay, so we took the high, but by 2 pips, or no, by 2 points. I don't fucking know how to say it, but well, previous daily high, previous weekly high, we had breakout structure to the downside. We had traveling within H1 here that took the previous weekly high, but no reaction. It needed more. The price needed more, so it went down to take this round liquidity on H1 with the timing. I know it's counter trend more or less, but well, the trend is to the upside, so it's not really counter trend. And we took this round liquidity in H1. I waited for the break of structure. We had a break of structure here, no confirmation. Let me show you. M5 break of structure, no confirmation because this week it's engulfing, but it's like the third candle or fourth candle, and this one, the one that created the low, it's not bearish, so no trade for me. And I'm trying to implement just one confirmation, and this one confirmation, it's about breaking structures, okay, because I think it's more confirmed and I think it's better probably, so I'm gonna have to study it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna use it. Because as you can see, no trade here. We took the driver liquidity on M5 again. Break of a structure on M5 with a wick, probably meaning that sellers were in. In this case, it took the driver liquidity on M1 here to the downside. I was looking for a buy all this way, but well, we took the driver liquidity on M1. It never took the low. We had a high, a low, and then a higher high. So here I entered, stop loss under, well, yeah, under this point here, 4 pips, and then boom, explosion to the upside to take the driver liquidity on M5. So you can see the run liquidity on F5 that took the run liquidity on H1. Perfect reaction. That's why it's so important to respect your targets. Well, in my case, my targets, my run liquidities. So as you can see, it was like 15 minutes, well, more because I entered here. So probably 30 minutes and, well, TP and continuation to the downside, probably to take the previous daily low. And let's see what happens, okay? But it was a really good trade, really clean, because the break even at 50% was here. Perfect, because it was half of the position more or less, and well, it was fucking perfect. I was at work, so I saw it in that moment because I had alarms and not really a lot of work to do in that moment. And yeah, so I was able to take it here, not on my account, but at least I can study my strategy, okay? And well, I hope you like it, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.